All right, Coach, we'll go ahead and kick it off with an opening statement.
Yeah, they handled the details of the game better than we did today. We were in it. Great atmosphere, great competition. We didn't handle the details of this well enough. Their use of their secondary pitches and management of that better than ours today at times, and it's painful because that's a heck of a ball game, and you feel like you have opportunities to take control. And Wes will learn from this. I felt like every time we created something, and not easy, like it wasn't an easy creative situation for either team offensively for a lot of that game, but every time we seemed to find a way to scratch and do some things, their response was very good. And the only way to combat that is to bear down and make better pitches with better stuff, because he had it today. He had some really good stuff. Quite frankly, I think it was the best I've seen him throw. His first time through that lineup, the first inning, first time through, that was impressive. But then when you find yourselves in those other little moments where we've created and scored, we have to go out there on the mound and defensively and dial it up a tick. And I did not feel like we did that. Credit to them as a good team. Good teams seem to take advantage of some of those opportunities, and some of them came again in bunches, which is a little uncharacteristic. But in the games we played, we seem like we have stacked a few mistakes, giving them an opportunity to really capitalize and do some damage. We chose to use Joey out of the bullpen and try to keep things a little bit shorter for him this weekend by design. And I thought he threw really well. Thought he threw better than he has. And it's tough to walk out of there feeling like he's on the short end of the stick when I actually think he threw the ball pretty well. We didn't get our secondary pitches where they needed to go. I thought North Carolina's usage of secondary pitches in essentially every count was a little bit better than ours, and their at-bat management might have been too.
Thanks, Coach. We'll open up to questions. Back there. Yep.
Coach,
I got you.
Back-to-back weeks, obviously, you've seen Wes throw really, really well against one of the best teams in the country. Just how well does that make you feel confidence-wise, and how he's grown as you now hit the postseason of the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I feel great. With the growth, now there's parts of that game I wish we could redo. He was in position in some really good counts to try to finish some people off, and we didn't quite do it. But his progression and what I see with the ability to manage, just start with the fastball alone, pretty good. And it's a dynamic fastball. I know the radar gun tells you there's some life to it, but when you stand there with it, it really jumps. That's good. His curveball was better today, threw some good sliders. And he got to the changeup later in the game. If he can ever figure out how to consistently land that, he runs away from it at times. This time next year, there's going to be a lot of fun discussion to be had about where he is. The progression has been what you would hope it is. Everybody doesn't seem to make it like he has, but it's coming. And we did talk in the locker room about it at certain moments of that game. We need him to be really disciplined and execute and hone in and make some critical pitches when you get in those mid-inning little traffic jams that you deal with as a starter to get yourself out of it. That's the next step.
When some of the mistakes late are things that you guys practice repeatedly, just how frustrating is that for you? Just how do you evaluate that going into?
That I didn't practice it enough. That's how. There were some opportunities to short game. We didn't use our short game well. We had a chance, situational hitting with the hit and run. And even one of the little bunt Ds, quite frankly. You got to take it and do it in the game. Like the practice and the repetitions and the machines and those things help, but you have to be able to go do it in the competition. And clearly we didn't quite execute some of those things. I thought some of the base running was actually pretty good in running backwards. Like there were some line drives. I think he hit one, and then the one that created the runs, you're one step or misread away from, not having an inning to even discuss. And I've never seen that happen with the line drive to second. I think it produced 2 or 3 runs, right? So some positive things in there, but yes, the details and some of those fine moments that you've seen us work on a lot. I feel like at this juncture, we didn't quite handle the details of it.
Just the hit and run you mentioned, was that when Chase was running in Jackson?
I think he tried to almost do too much and tried to chop it into the ground instead of just.
Alex, obviously a disappointing result for you and earlier today for Kyle. But how much has this kind of week meant to you and your family with, everything between you two guys?
Yeah, it's meant a whole lot. Him and I both have come a long way, as people and baseball players. So to see each other both in good positions in this tournament as the 1 and 2 seed kind of meant a lot. And both of my family and his parents were able to make it here, and it was just great being able to see each other both come in and play and on this stage and in this tournament. And sucks that we couldn't play each other and make it all the way, but it is how it is.
Coach, you just had eyes on North Carolina last weekend. How much did what you saw down in Tallahassee influence any of your pitching and offensive decisions today?
We try to influence a lot because you have so much fresh information, and we try to use it to our advantage. And Micah calls the pitches, so we probably don't get as in depth with what their hitters look like. Our pitchers see what the hitters looks like, but we're trying to execute pitches. I think on the offensive side of things, diving back into the video, the guys have access to everything that happened, and we have the metrics on it, and we tried to go over it. And they changed some things. Like, they did a good job of using multiple secondary pitches. And when you're able to use multiple secondary pitches in various counts, it makes it really challenging to string together a lot offensively. So we did it. It just, they made some good adjustments, and it didn't result in enough.
The last 2 weeks, Joey's command seemed to not be kind of what we're used to. Just how much more was that what you're used to seeing with him command wise today?
I mean, from the side, you guys can probably see this if you have a monitor better than I can. It just looked sharper and more crisp. Now, when we watch it, I'll know for sure, but I thought he threw some good breaking balls, some good sliders. I thought his fastball command was pretty good, and I thought he threw some good changeups. I think the one to Kepley, just, we left some secondary pitches elevated, and the one that, I can't remember who hit it down the line, the one, maybe Madera, that kind of hooked the 0-2 breaking ball from Mendez, and then Kepley's ball through the middle. They're just up. So other than that, and I thought Joey was good, and we wanted maybe not the start and not 90 to 100 pitches. I that was a good refresher for him, and I think maybe coming out of the pen there was a little shot of adrenaline. He came in there and threw well, so hopefully that helps in preparation for next weekend.
Link, you guys obviously saw Carolina and Omaha last year, and with the postseason now sort of starting to unfold in front of you, do you think these are teams that have that sort of potential to make that type of run again?
I really do. I think we do, and I think clearly they do. I really do. There's a completeness to it. Every team's different. Our team this year is different than our team last year. I think this team's one of the best 8 in the country. I think their team's really good. I think it's one of the best 8. Different, their offensive makeup is a little bit different, but they find ways on there, and it's a good offensive team. It's a different offensive team, different than maybe ours is, but very capable. Clearly tough. I mean, you got an elite arm that gets you deep, that seems to really limit the bullpen usage. They're complete. I think their other starters that they've used as starters are good. I think they have enough in the pen. I think our 3 starters, I don't know that I've gone through a season and had 3 starting pitchers. I don't know how many people have, and I like it. And I do like our guys out of the bullpen, the consistency out of the bullpen with some of the guys, a little up and down, but I really like the stuff, and I like the athleticism and the way we can shrink the field defensively. I think our athletes do a good job of that.
Alex, how have you seen, I mean, you've played a lot of college baseball, how have you seen Miles evolve this season and then demonstrate it to the rest of the ACC this weekend?
Yeah, he's grown a lot as a player. I mean, today the homer he hit, he used to never let go of his top hand in a swing ever. And to see him do that now and stay through a changeup like that, and he's so strong that he can hit pitches one-handed and hit them out. So he's just evolved, he's just maturing really and just becoming a great player. And this is only his first year, and he's gonna be an amazing hitter. And as he becomes more complete and use the other side of the field, I mean, he's gonna be great for college baseball.
Any other questions? We'll go last one back here.
Coach, kind of following up on that, from your perspective, where have you seen Miles grow the most from what you saw in the ball, what you see now?
There were times in the fall where he was not aggressive enough. And I remember talking to him, if you don't go up there and take some hacks, it ain't gonna be a lot that happens for you, big guy. So we almost had to create a little bit more aggression, and I could tell the hardest thing for me is, can they recognize the secondary pitches? And I do see glimpses, I did early and I still do, of him recognizing and shutting it down on some of the tough secondary pitches. And this is not easy when you've got the changeups of this caliber and the breaking pitches and the cutters and the sliders and the velocity that sets that up. I see him recognizing that. That was a really good sign. Then you see him start to make good decisions on which of those he should offer at and which he should take. That recognizing it's one thing, the mid-pitch decision of when to go and when to shut it down is another one. So more aggressive, use of his recognition skills better. And we train hard on the machines and the left-handed breaking balls and the right-handed stuff and the changeups, and he's taking some of that into play. He's hung in there on some of the best left-handed arms in the country. He really has, including ours. At time, I don't know that anybody's got a better batch than we run out there at him in the scrimmages in the preseason. So it's a nice progression, and it makes you proud of what you're doing to help. You know, you want to make sure the guys move through and get a little bit better, and you're seeing it. And he's a good athlete, and he's really learned how to play first base. That's hidden sometimes because he makes it look easy over there, but that step forward has been just as enjoyable for me as the offensive stuff.
All right, thanks, guys. Good luck next week.